Hi everyone, welcome to another video. This is another request video for Oliver Gold, and this is about the Pendennis Castle. 4079 Pendennis Castle, named after fortifications at Falmouth, was completed at Swindon in February 1924 and began working life at Old Oak Common, where it was employed on routes in South Wales and the West Country. In 1950, 4079 was allocated to Gloucester, before moving on to Bath Road in Bristol in 1959, and then Bristol St Philip's Marsh, from where she was withdrawn in 1964. The mileage on withdrawal from service is not known, but it had completed 1,758,398 miles by the end of October 1963. Pendennis Castle's claim to fame dates from 1925, when the Great Western Railway lent the locomotive to the London and North Eastern Railway for trials against Sir Nigel Gresley's mighty new Pacifics. Working 16-coach trains on the East Coast Main Line from King's Cross, the stalwart castle covered itself in Sutton glory, thoroughly outperforming its larger competitors. Its exploits were the talk of every schoolboy in Britain, and the Great Western Railway rather cheekily sent Pendennis Castle to stand alongside the Flying Scotsman at the 1925 British Empire exhibit in Wembley, with a notice proclaiming it to be the most powerful passenger express locomotive in Britain. British Rail motive power depot allocations since 1999. January 1948, Hereford. November 1948, Gloucestershire. October 1952, Stafford Road. June 1957, Bristol Bath Road. September 1960, Taunton. January 1961, St Philip's Marsh. July 1962, Swindon. And finally, November 1963, St Philip's Marsh again. Whilst at Swindon, 4079 was put into storage for almost a year. On the 9th of May 1964, a special train was arranged by the Western region to run the Paddington to Plymouth. It was to commemorate the run of the City of Truro on the 9th of May 1904, when it is said to be the first steam locomotive to achieve a speed of 100 miles per hour. The plan was that the train in 1964 would be hauled at different stages by 4 Castle-class locomotives, which were all considered to be in good condition and capable of achieving high speeds. It was deemed that this would be the last occasion on which a steam locomotive would be allowed to run at high speeds. The Western region plans for the run included indicating where higher than normal speeds would be permitted and where they were not. Another indication of the significance placed on the commemorative run was the careful selection of the coal to be used by the locomotives involved. This was something called Ogilvy wash coal, which was the true Great Western Welsh coal. I hope I pronounced that right. Permission was given to attempt to achieve a speed of 100 miles per hour on the return leg from Bristol to Paddington via Badminton between Hullavington and Little Summerford. Did you get all of that? On the journey from Paddington to Plymouth, very hot material was noticed appearing beside the train, which was initially thought to be tender axle box brass. Right? As a result, the unplanned and unexpected application of the brakes on the train destroyed any hope of reaching Plymouth in the 3.5 hours. When examined, the problem with the Pendennis Castle was not with the tender axle box, but the fire bars which had melted. The problem was believed to be caused by the coal, which was of high quality, but when used in a locomotive attaining high speeds got too hot. The locomotive was said to have achieved a speed of 96 miles per hour, but had to be removed from the train at Westbury. After its withdrawal in 1964, Pendennis Castle was purchased for preservation by Mike Higson and appeared at one of the Great Western Society's first open days in 1965. It was soon sold to the Honourable John Gretton and Sir William McAlpine and was based at Didcot just before the GWS established Didcot Railway Centre. In 1977, the locomotive was sold again, this time to Hammersley Iron Company, one of the largest iron ore producers in Australia, for use on excursion trains on the company's 240-mile ore-carrying railway in the Pilbara region of Western Australia. 4079 left England in the summer of 1977. In Australia, it was looked after by the Pilbara Railways Historical Society, formed by Hammersley employees, and worked many excursion trains through the Chichester Ranges. A highlight of the Australian sojourn, so it was called, was a visit to Perth in 1989 to operate alongside its old rival, the Flying Scotsman, as the climax of a tour during the country's bicentennial celebrations. However, vastly increasing traffic on the Hammersley Railway combined with operational difficulties resulted in 4079 being stored out of use for several years. 4079's final steaming into Australia took place in October 1994. Whilst in Australia, it was given the name River Fair, River of Iron, by its new owner in 1978. With prospects for an operational future in Australia looking uncertain, Hammersley Iron began to consider options. The main concern was to find a new home that would offer a secure future and would recognise the significance of its English heritage and provide a high degree of public accessibility. It was also important that the engine should not become a standalone exhibit, but should play its part in illustrating the wider picture of Great Western Railway Locomotives Department. The decision to offer Pendennis Castle to the Great Western Society was made in the first days of 2000. In return, the Society agreed to arrange and pay for the repatriation and to restore it to full mainline running condition. The locomotive was formally presented to the Society by Hammersley Iron on the 19th of April. Following a 10-week voyage, Pendennis Castle finally regained British soil on the 8th of July 2000, just over 23 years after it left. The cost of bringing the locomotive back to Britain had been by generous donations from British enthusiasts and a grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund. Pendennis Castle's route was via the Pacific Rim, the Panama Canal, the eastern seaboard of the USA, and across the Atlantic, the opposite way to her outward journey, making 4079 the first 460 steam locomotive to circumnavigate the world, and the only steam locomotive to do so after the Flying Scotsman. The GWR number 4079 Pendennis Castle locomotive is currently operational based at Didcot Railway Centre, where it undergoes tests and tours to events and other preserved railways across the UK. This year it marked its 100th birthday and participated in a special reunion event with its historic rival, the Flying Scotsman. So there we go, folks. I hope you have enjoyed that tale of the Pendennis Castle. If you have, give this video a like, share, and consider subscribing to my channel, and click the notification bell to never miss a video. Until the next video, folks, take care for now, and goodbye.